This is the Super Network. It's Brent this afternoon. Thanks for your company. 20 after 2, New South Wales Daylight Saving Time. And we have the Shadow Minister for Roads, Walt Secord, on the phone. Thanks for your time this afternoon, Walt. How are you?
Well, thank you. Good afternoon.
That's good. Now, you have the Shadow Minister for Roads, and you're the Shadow Minister for the North Coast as well. A busy person.
That's right. It's an exciting, two exciting portfolios.
I wanted to talk to you about this revenue raising from the O'Farrell government. Now, I've got some facts and figures here, so we'll get those out of the way first.
Yep.
The O'Farrell government's budget is built on collecting record road and other fines, with the government planning to collect more than $500 million each year. Now, that's a 47% increase on the previous Labor government, and budget papers show that in the year 10 to 11, that's 2010 to 2011, the Labor government raised around about $343 million, and the O'Farrell government in the 11 to 12 have raised, in the 13 to 14, have raised, no, in the 11 to 12 have raised $482 million. There's lots and lots of figures there. I won't go on because otherwise we get bogged down in figures, but basically they want to raise even more revenue and take it up to $504 million, according to budget papers for 2016-2017.
Absolutely, Brent. In fact, Brent, those are their own figures published in the budget papers released last June. Fact is, their budget is actually predicated on fines. In opposition, Barry O'Farrell and Duncan Gay, when he was the Shadow Roads, stood under speed cameras and pointed to them and said, we will tear these down if we get elected. But in fact, what they've actually done is they've expanded speed, red light, mobile cameras, and revenue raising. Now, we all know that getting a fine 2 weeks down the track does not change behavior. The way to stop speeding is to actually have high-profile policing. If you see a cruiser on the road, you slow down.
It's so true what you say. Getting a fine in the mail just it doesn't do anything apart from raise your blood pressure.
Yeah.
The O'Farrell government introduced 45 new mobile speed camera units operating at 2,500 locations throughout the state. This increased the number of surveillance hours from 900 a month to 7,000. And you're right on what you say. They said that they were going to do a study, commission a report on where these speed cameras were, and the ones that weren't needed, they were going to take them down.
Now, back to these mobile speed cameras that you referred to. In December, Barry O'Farrell introduced 45 new mobile speed cameras. Now, I came across one of those speed cameras down in the Riverina, where the bloke who was operating the camera was hiding in the weeds to catch motorists. Now, that is not about changing behavior. That is actually about catching people and generating revenue. If you're hiding in the weeds and you catch someone with a speed camera, that's actually not changing behavior. That is pure revenue raising. Now they've introduced 45 of these new cameras, and they're going to be at 2,500 locations across the state. It was about 900 hours a month. It's going to go up to 7,000 hours a month. Now, mobile speed cameras are not marked, are not signed. If you look around the state, if you go up to the Pacific Highway up near Byron Bay, there's a speed camera up there, and that generates about $1.2 million a year for the state government. But there are 3 signs up that tell you you're coming near a speed camera.
That's right, yeah.
But the mobile cameras are hidden, they move around, and the guy in the Riverina who was caught, and the RMS had to review it, he was hiding in the long grass and catching people. Now, that's not fair, and that does not change behavior.
I'm sure everyone that's listening this afternoon has got one of those stories to tell about where they've had, one of those mobile cameras hidden, obviously just positioned so that they catch you out. That's number one. But what about the marked police cars that are also hidden in sneaky places on roads?
Well, that's a different matter. But I actually believe that police highway patrol is the best way to cut down speeding.
And see, I agree with you, but I don't agree with you in reference to where they also hide these police cars in sneaky areas on the highway. And we see examples of it every day. It's just, again, it's revenue raising. I mean, if you're going to take the approach of you think that the high visual of seeing a police car on the road will slow people down,
absolutely,
that doesn't mean hide them in the bushes.
But, Brent, there's one thing that might surprise you. I don't have any problems with speed cameras in school zones.
Neither do I.
No, there you go. You and I agree on that.
Neither do I.
See, that's an area where I don't care. You must slow down whatsoever. There's no excuses for speeding in school zones. Now,
I just think that Once again, it's sneaky. There's no other word for it. It's sneaky for the mobile cameras to be hidden away, number one. But also, number two, I think it's also sneaky for the police cars to be hidden away. In particular, I can think of one particular area that I drive past on a regular basis.
Where's that?
And it's in the Hunter Valley. It's where this new expressway is going.
Oh, yeah, the Hunter.
And it's coming down from Singleton down to Newcastle. And there's an area there where it goes from 100 to 80 to 60 very quickly.
Oh, I know, because I came back from Tamworth.
And do you know the area I'm talking about on the left-hand side? And I've got to tell you, off the side of the road, out of the way, with a copper with a gun in his hand, one of these radar guns in his hand, they're there almost every second day, just revenue raising.
But there's another thing I want to add, which will probably, in fact, make you blow your top, that we discovered, and I'm doing an exploration of this, that last year, some of these speed camera points actually dropped down, the number of people that were caught, the number dropped down. So the federal government has now increased fines by 12.5% to make up the lost revenue. So that adds another argument to the bow that, in fact, this is simply revenue raising. So, in fact, when they caught fewer people, they just increased the penalty fine.
So we're mad, we're going to the window, we're going to open the window and say we're as mad as hell and we aren't going to take any more. What do we do? Well,
the thing is that we do is we all have to stick to the speed limit. No one makes you speed. However, the fact is, this is what I come back to, highway patrol policing, where you and I may disagree a bit on this, but a high-profile police officer in a cruiser on the New England Highway, the Pacific Highway, gets people to slow down.
No argument. I agree completely.
A speed camera 2 weeks later, and a lot of times you think, well, in fact, you don't even remember where you were speeding. It doesn't change behavior. It is revenue raising.
Yeah.
But, yep.
Well, we do agree. I mean, but
okay.
where we disagree is if the if the police car is sort of hidden off the side of the road.
Now, if your listeners are interested, they can go to, there's a website called www.osr.nsw.gov.au, which is the Office of State Revenue. And you can actually look on that website, and it'll tell you the top 20 speed cameras in New South Wales for revenue. Like the top one in the state is on the Eastern Distributor. It collects $3.7 million a year. Botany Road, and many of these are Sydney ones. There's a few country ones. Ewingsdale appears several times. Wollongong appears several times. Sydney's North Shore.
I've got to go to the news,
okay.
So we'll have to sort of, can I leave it there? But
yep.
Could I get that website from you again, please?
www.osr.nsw.gov.au.
Okay, osr.nsw.gov.au. All right, we'll have a look at that. Thank you for your time, Walt, this afternoon. Nice to talk to you.
Great, thank you, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. That's Walt Secord. He's the Shadow Minister for Roads and the Shadow Minister for the North Coast. I don't know. We'll have the competition, but after that, if you've got any comments you'd like to make, you can call us in reference to those hidden cameras, those hidden mobile cameras. But what about the hidden police cars on the side of the road as well? Does that make your blood boil too? Well, you can have your say shortly. We'll go to the news next.